It's Monday, February 28th, the last day of February, and this is news that you can use from YAA with your dear friends Zach and Ray. And apparently we're bidding on a couple of used cars, and I'm pretty sure they'll be overpriced now that they're at ADESA, but there you have it.
All right, so here's the deal. We got a fun, action-packed show also.
Action-packed?
Also, back on the YAA channel, we are going live tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern. Sorry about last Saturday, but whatever. Anyway, 7 p.m. Eastern on the YAA channel. Please tune in tonight. Here's the deal. We got 4 key stories. 4, that's 8 now because we're both on it. 4 key stories.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to be talking about here in just a second the latest chip shortage update, the numbers that we're seeing there, and also the prognosis for what's to come. We have the disruption over at Toyota, their supply chain getting a little screwed up because of some cyber attacks. That'll be fun to talk about because it's, what was it? A security researcher found that the Teslas could be hacked. A security researcher found that Toyota's supply chains could be screwed up. Carvana.
Could be.
They're making waves in the automotive industry right now. They bought a company called ADESA from KAR. We're going to talk about that. And then Dad.
Yeah.
I think we need to start a really, you've got to be kidding me, Hall of Fame. And the story we have for the end of today's show quite possibly belongs on it. Don't you think?
I would say that at the end of time, that the story today will be on the Mount Rushmore of you got to be kidding me.
I mean, it's pretty bad.
Never heard anything like it in my life.
All right, so let's kick things off, Dad, with the chip shortage numbers. Let me pull them up really quick and give us your rundown of what you're seeing right now in the market. Here you go. The latest chip shortage numbers, microchip shortage. Europe, North America drive the latest cuts. What'd you see when you were reading through the data, Pops?
It's getting bad again, and if you read a little more deeply into it, it's only going to get worse. There are issues. There are supply chain issues that go back to Ukraine, believe it or not, that they are a major manufacturer of a lot of automotive parts. And obviously during the middle of a war, it makes it harder to get those parts out of the country. And also making those parts is probably not a priority.
So let's start immediately there. This article comes by way of Reuters. Ukraine war flashes neon warning lights for chips. You might not realize this. Heck, I didn't realize this, but let's read this really quickly. It says Ukraine is a major producer of neon gas critical for lasers used in chip making and supplies more than 90% of U.S. semiconductor grade neon, according to estimates from this firm called TechSet. There's also a rare earth metal, palladium, used for semiconductors, which is sourced from Russia. A full-scale conflict disrupting exports of those elements might hit players like Intel, which gets about 50% of its neon from Eastern Europe. This is a new development, one that no one could have seen coming. ASML also talking about how they need to find other sources of neon. So you're right. We have not only the data from today, which again comes by way of Auto Forecast Solutions, which shows us year-to-date the number of vehicles that have been taken out of production has increased, and the projections
have increased.
And we have this data. It's worth mentioning. Going back to the Join YA website, resources blog. New features you won't get because of the chip shortage. Hit by the chip shortage. All right, here we go. This article about the car chip shortage, it gets updated pretty much weekly, except I guess we missed last week and I haven't done it yet today, so that's on me.
So it gets done almost weekly.
It done when I do it.
Yeah.
We had the projection 2 weeks ago, Dad. The total was 527,000 vehicles taken out of production.
Yeah. And now it's 643,000.
And the projection is now 1.368 million, and it was 1.253 million.
Yeah, so it's moving in the wrong direction, and it's impacting every area so far, other than at this point there haven't been any vehicles lost to production in China over the last 4 weeks.
Supposedly.
Allegedly.
Supposedly.
Well, who knows what information you really get out of China? How much can you really count
on? Who knows?
Exactly.
We saw Ford take their production lines down because of the lack of semiconductors last week. So the story continues over there. That being said,
yes.
And we get new used car market data from Black Book tomorrow. So tune into tomorrow's show. That'll be very tough. What do you think's going on in the used car market? I mean, if we've always talked about chip shortage is what premeditated the used car price increases, but we've seen used car prices come down, wholesale used car prices come down for the past few weeks. and we're seeing bad chip news. I'm very curious to see if that's a trend or if that's going to be reversed.
Well, I think the bad chip news is just over the last couple days, so it might not be reflected yet in what we see at the wholesale auctions. But I would conjecture that if the bad chip news were to continue, and there's no reason to suspect that it wouldn't at the moment, that it will once again have a negative impact on used car wholesale prices that dealers are willing to pay at the auction to get vehicles for their lots.
Yep. Yeah. 100%. All right, let's switch gears here, Pops, and let's talk about some other supply chain issues that the world is currently facing. Let me share my screen once more. Toyota idles Japan plants on suspected cyber attack at supplier. We've talked to Mr. David Chow, who's an expert who's done some work in the past, I think. I don't know for sure, but I think with Toyota Corporation. Their
at least in Canada.
Their supply chains are tight. Do you remember what he told us when we interviewed him?
Tight. Like if your truck is supposed to drop off its parts, its supplies at the factory at 12:15, you are allowed to arrive no earlier than 12:14 and no later than 12:16. So there is a 2-minute window in which you are allowed to have your parts arrive at the Toyota manufacturing facility.
Yep.
2 minutes.
Now,
okay.
This is so that company is putting out this news today. The world's top auto producer said Monday it will suspend operations at all 14 in its home country, all 14 plants in its home country. The stoppage is linked to the Kojima Press Industry Company, which detected an abnormality in its internal server network after 9 p.m. on February the 26th. And you can see here, they're a manufacturer of metals, plastics, and electronic components. And they've taken down the entire Toyota supply chain in their home country.
Yes.
We don't make up these stories. That boat that was on fire, the 4,000 VW products gone. Toyota having to shut down. I mean, this is insane.
These are things that happen.
And these are things that then affect
that
prices here in the United States.
And these are things that you don't normally anticipate happening.
Or honestly hear about. Like, who the heck's talking about this stuff?
We are.
Yeah, but it's insane to see.
Yes, and that impacts, I think it was about 10% of their domestic production for Japan.
And also, it's worth mentioning, like, Toyota set pretty lofty expectations for what they're going to do this year. And this line right here, Toyota's production fell 15% in January as the company halted output in the Chinese city of Tianjin, where the government carried out multiple rounds of mass testing on residents. Earlier this month, some of Toyota North America's operations were affected by protests that shut some of the main trade routes between the U.S. and Canada. Like, things have not been going well.
No.
The press releases sound good. The headlines on automotive news look good. The earnings reports are surprisingly solid.
Yeah.
But then you read these stories.
The reality is something other than what we get force fed on a daily basis.
Which is surprising because then we still see right now you can't actually negotiate on cars. I don't know how long that's going to last.
I don't think it's going to last all that long.
Yeah. All right. Let's switch gears to another topic that also includes the used car market.
Yes.
This news was, I would say, it's
staggering.
Yeah, it shook the industry a little bit.
Yeah.
Because the implications here are going to be quite high.
Yes.
So Carvana, they purchased ADESA. Can you explain to the YA community what ADESA is, what they've been within the industry?
Well, there are two major auction players in the United States. Manheim, which is owned by Cox, which is the largest wholesale auction chain in the country.
Yep.
And the second largest is ADESA. And I think they have 56
physical locations
where you can run used cars through the auction.
And they move about 2 million cars a year.
Yes. And so Carvana has agreed to purchase ADESA and their reconditioning facilities, which is, I think, probably the main reason for the purchase.
And they're 35 or 4,500 employees.
Well, they don't purchase the employees, but the employees come along with the deal for $2.2 million or $2.2 billion.
Yeah.
Carvana has arranged a $3.3 billion credit line between JP Morgan and Citibank.
To put $1 billion into the work that they need to do.
Yes. So their total investment in the ADESA buy will be somewhere in the neighborhood of $3.3 billion. Now, one of the reasons they're doing it is ADESA has reconditioning facilities attached to most of their auctions because dealers don't always recondition everything prior to taking it to the auction.
That's pretty common, honestly.
Yes. And so they pay the auctions to do some of the reconditioning work for them. And obviously, one of the issues that Carvana is having is making sure that the used vehicles that they're selling are reconditioned prior to selling them. And in many cases, they have not been. They utilize their in-house warranty company to take care of all the issues that were pre-existing that weren't done during any reconditioning process. So the hope would be that they will start really fully reconditioning their vehicles before they offer them up for sale to the public. So this will increase their ability. I think they said it'll allow them to recondition close to 900,000 vehicles a year. That's a lot of vehicles.
Yeah, and what's also interesting here is this line from the Automotive News article, Dad. The planned ADESA purchase would mean 78% of the U.S. population would be within 100 miles of a Carvana-owned site compared to 32% before the deal, the company said. That could drive conversion on Carvana's platform, Truist Securities analysts wrote. It's really interesting to think about. A lot of the existing infrastructure in our marketplace, it exists for a purpose. The traditional business model has been you send cars to the auction, then they get picked up on car haulers, and they get taken to the dealers that buy them. Got it. We're very much so in a period of transition where we now have vending machines that delineate or demark where a car dealership is. And we've got the push for more, cutting out the middleman. Like, let me just go directly to consumer. It's really interesting to think, you and I drove cross country last year and we passed quite a few auctions.
Yes.
Car auctions. What's stopping Carvana from over the next couple of years just popping up vending machines there, and now they're Carvana sites and they're auction sites. You want to come buy a car? It just sold at the auction. We just bought it. I think we're moving more and more in the direction of like a Walmart type player in automotive, and I think Carvana is trying to be positioned as that. There's a Carvana in every neighborhood. You just come right by, and
it's like the KFC of cars.
Okay, that is it. Except I think KFCs are franchised, but yeah.
But it's or somebody once said MTV is to music what KFC is to chicken.
And who is your business guru?
That was Lewis Black.
Yeah,
which I thought was a great line because you don't necessarily think of KFC as offering up the finest chicken products.
No, but you get the same thing everywhere you go, and I think
Yes.
Carvana's. I mean, like that says 78% of the Americans will be within 100 miles of a Carvana location. It's just gonna. It further introduces Carvana as a mainstay in automotive, and quite frankly, I would be surprised if we don't see news about CarMax potentially buying Vroom or potentially like trying to acquire Manheim. Like, if you're CarMax, you gotta do something here. You're losing a competitive advantage. You really are. I think you are.
Well, are you? I mean, it's still an auction. The used vehicles are still going to get sold. Bojangles might be better. The vehicles are still going to get sold at auction to the highest bidder. Whoever has their hand up last, that's who wins.
Yeah, but if there's so
is it really going to be Carvana? It's their auction. Okay, are they really always going to be the one with their hand up last?
No,
because if that's the case, who's going to take the cars to Carvana to their auctions then?
A lot of people don't realize it, but Carvana and CarMax have incredibly profitable wholesale businesses. They sell a lot of cars wholesale at auctions. So anyway, you're right. It could just be par for the course as we move in this new direction. But Randy says, Carvana cannot manage the business end of the sale now. What is going to happen now that they do the auctions too? That's really fascinating.
Well, the real sad reality is they're going to spend $3.3 billion to acquire basically an auction house and reconditioning facilities. Nowhere in there Did it say, hey, we're going to hire a couple thousand title clerks to help us get all these cars titled that we're selling to customers?
But ADESA must have a lot of no, because they don't do anything with the. Well, ADESA does work with titles, don't they?
Well,
Between the dealers,
yeah, the dealer,
but
yeah,
not with the consumer.
no,
Yeah.
it's a dealer just signs off the back of the title to another dealer.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
When you sell a used car, except in Florida where
Yeah.
they're trying to change the law, you don't actually. I mean, when you sell the car as the retailer, part of your job is to get the car titled in the customer's name. Except now in Florida where they're trying to pass a law that says, well, you just need to try.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah. You and I both have reservations with what they're doing there. Here's something interesting. Pops.
Yes.
This is live.
Yeah. Who?
Live.
Live.
VW halts EV production in Germany as Ukraine crisis hits supplies. Again, and this was updated an hour ago.
Okay.
This is going to be the story.
Yes. Yeah.
What impact is it going to have here in the United States? Probably going to be even shorter supply than what we were seeing before.
Well, yeah, because, let's face it, how many, and I don't know how many Volkswagen EVs were slated to make it to America.
Well,
anyway.
It was probably a couple thousand more that were on that ship that burnt.
Perhaps, but the point is it's going to impact production worldwide.
Oh, I didn't read this. The vehicles aboard the car carrier were weighted heavily toward the more expensive brands in Volkswagen Group. So
can you say 400 million?
Wow.
Yeah.
We fear that the fire in the ship has damaged a large number of the nearly 4,000 group branded vehicles to such extent that they can no longer be delivered to customers.
No kidding. They've been sitting on a boat that's been on fire. I mean, really, what are you going to say to the customer of that Porsche that's had it on order?
Look at these numbers.
There might be a little bit of smoke damage.
Yeah, but that's on the Carfax.
Yeah. No, they don't report the Carfax. 1,900
Audis.
1,100 Porsches. Wow.
1,100 Porsches.
Yeah, only 500 Volkswagens.
That's knuckin' futz.
Yeah. Can you say, that's over 400 million.
That's over 400 million.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to it. I know it's early in the show, but we're going to jump to it anyway. Pops, toss on.
Yeah, because I could probably talk about this for a month and a half.
Toss on your headphones really quick.
God knows I can't do that well. Yeah, buddy. That's the wrong one. Really? You gotta be kidding me.
All right.
I'm telling you, folks, this one is destined for the Mount Rushmore of you gotta be kidding me.
So this was sent to me by our very own Phil Nader. He's one of our YAA auto advocates. Again, if you become a YAA member, get paired up with a coach, get help as you're navigating the car buying process. This article.
Yes, this one.
This comes by way of WXYZ, Detroit.
Yes.
Man stunned. Let's just freaking end it there. Man stunned when GM dealer says pay for Yukon weeks before possession or lose it. Now, Dad, I know you read this article.
I did.
All right. Give us the high level overview and then we'll dive into some of the key points.
The high level is that this dealership has a lot of nerve, and their general manager doesn't really think things through before commenting to the news outlets.
Explain what happened.
Well, the car's built. It has a VIN.
So this customer ordered a vehicle.
Ordered this Yukon, put down a $500 deposit when he ordered it so that it would come in with his name on it. And apparently, hopefully they had agreed to a price that he was going to pay for. The vehicle's been built. It is scheduled to arrive at the Chevrolet dealership on March 10th. And the Chevrolet dealership took it upon themselves to call him and inform him that he needed to pay for the vehicle by February 28th, or, well, they threatened not to sell it to him. Okay, well, you took a deposit to hold it for him. Okay. And who asks anybody to pay in full for something that, I don't know, isn't even there yet? I mean, that takes an incredible amount of nerve. Well, yeah, we want you to. Well, the first thought that came to my mind is just because a vehicle's built, just because it has a VIN number, doesn't mean it always arrives. Okay, the reason
or in great condition.
The reason for that is, I don't know. It could have been on a boat coming from Germany that caught fire. Stuff happens. So how can you legally ask somebody to pay for something that you don't even have in your possession yet to sell, and you don't even know for a fact that it will arrive in the condition that it was supposed to arrive in, which is why you normally wait for a vehicle to come in before you tell a customer that they have to pay for it and take delivery of it. If a customer signs up for a vehicle like that,
yep,
and just because the estimated time of arrival is March 10th, the key word there is estimated. It's not a guaranteed time of arrival. So stuff can happen.
Yep.
There could be trailering issues. Who knows? And what if it doesn't show up until, I don't know, April 10th instead of March 10th? Well, you know what will have come due by then? His first payment.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you have a bank loan, well, that means that you've agreed to insure it. So you're making a payment on the bank loan. You're making a payment on the
auto insurance
on a vehicle that, well, you don't really own yet because it hasn't been delivered to the dealer for the dealer to be able to deliver it to you. And the excuse at the dealership was, well, we got to keep our lights on.
Yeah, and Space calls it out here. I'm going to pull up the article and we'll read it in a second. Dealer wanted to, quote, earn an allocation for the next period. Bad practice for sure, but they really must be short on allocations. Yeah, they really must. But here's let's read through the article, because this gentleman went to the local news and did a good job. The man said he'd already been waiting months after placing the $500 deposit.
Just by the way, I could scroll up for a second. I don't want to mention names, but if you're in the Detroit area or Davison, Michigan, just remember the name Todd Wenzel Buick GMC.
Yeah.
Okay. Because apparently they think it's okay.
The Josh Gordon
is the general manager, but the name of the dealership is Todd Wenzel Buick GMC of Davis.
Okay, so I just want to say this out loud.
Yeah.
And hopefully the YA team, watches some of like, all right, so we got this, right? They have a 4.5-star Google review. You know what I really want?
Yeah.
Really badly is when you go on vehicle search.
Yeah.
Like, give me the YAA review for, I don't know, this dealership. Who's this dealership? Let me click on it. Like, tell me what's the what are the YAA community experiences with Virginia Auto Trader Company?
Yeah, well, you don't even need the YAA experiences.
What's the bad news? Yeah,
you could just
do a search for news stories.
Yes,
yes. We really need some sort of review piece. Actually, comment in the chat if that's a good idea. All right.
I think it's a great idea.
I think it's a great idea too. All right. So on Facebook, he talked about this. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is what got me.
Yeah.
So the news station reached out to the general manager,
Josh Gordon.
Just a general rule of thumb.
Yeah. Wasn't he suspended by the NFL?
Just, don't respond like this.
Yeah.
Gordon said it's about keeping the lights on, paying his employees, and managing low supply with high demand. Gets better. Yeah. Gordon wanted to make it clear that the customer has still not completed the purchase of the Yukon, which is expected to arrive on March 10th, correct?
Yeah, why should he?
When 7 Action News asked why the $500 deposit was not enough to hold the vehicle for the man until it actually arrives, and you can see it before completing the purchase, Gordon said, quote, the deposit does not mean that the vehicle is guaranteed to a particular person.
BS.
Well, hopefully they watched our How to Factory Order a car. But it's like the whole point of the deposit.
Yeah, this is
the guarantee that I get the car.
This is similar to the Seinfeld episode where Jerry Seinfeld goes to rent a car, and he says, "Yeah, I have a reservation," and she says, "Well, we have no cars."
This is just like that Kate Klonick tweet with Hertz, where she went.
So it's like, well, what's the point of the reservation? What's the point of the deposit? What's the point of ordering the vehicle if I give you money so that you'll get the vehicle built the way I want it, but it doesn't mean it's mine? No, that's not so. It does mean it's yours.
A manager,
and by accepting money from the customer, there's only one entity that is obligated in that, and that's the entity that took the deposit.
Probably, yeah.
Not
Yeah.
probably. I will cite an example to you.
Well, I'm sure each state's different.
Yes, but let me cite one example to you.
Cite an example.
Many years ago, in the
APA citations. ALA, MLA?
I don't know what you're talking about, but in the 80s, I was at a Nissan store, and we had taken a deposit on a Nissan. And
That's what you do at Nissan stores.
You know, and we held the car. We took a deposit, and we held the car. And the used car manager, who shall remain nameless,
Can we call him Mark?
okay, call him Mark. Could be Mark. Mark had a customer come in who wanted to buy that car that had a deposit.
I
on
remember
it.
this story, yeah.
So, well, Mark sold it to him. And the next day, the customer who had put a deposit on the car to buy the car for his son came in to complete the transaction. Well, there was no car to complete the transaction on. And he screamed and hollered and said, but I put a deposit on it. You're obligated to hold that car. You took my money. And he
Did
said,
that customer sue you guys?
And so ultimately he sued us.
Yeah.
Okay. And ultimately he won, because in the state of New Jersey, at least, if a dealership takes a deposit to hold something, they're obligated to hold it until the customer who gave them the deposit says, A, they either want to complete the transaction, or B, they no longer want to complete the transaction.
So that's why I want to come.
And the outcome was,
Yeah.
the outcome was that we gave him a car.
Wow.
Gave it to him because the used car manager decided to sell the car that we had a deposit on.
So here you go. A manager at another GM dealership who wanted to remain anonymous said a vehicle purchase is not consummated unless the customer can actually drive it off the lot or take physical possession
That's
of it.
true in a lot of states.
And it's different. Again, it's different
in every state. Because in the state of Arizona, for example, the moment you sign the documents for the vehicle, whether you've driven it off the lot or not, you own it. And in other states, you physically, like the state of Maryland,
you have to drive it.
You have to drive the vehicle off the lot. Off the lot.
Why do they not teach us this in high school? Like, seriously, in each state, they should be teaching you this stuff in high school.
They should. There's lots of things that should be taught in high school that aren't. You know,
if a person has a complaint about any business operating in the state, a spokesperson for the Michigan Attorney General, Dana Nessel, said they can file an online complaint with our office. That is the right thing to do. The Better Business Bureau is also good. But this is also why we need the YAA community. I mean, this already happens if you go to the forum. I guess what I'm saying, team.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, YAA team behind the scenes. We just got off a team meeting. There's a bunch of faces on the screen. Like, we get, where is it? Dealership reviews.
Yes.
There's 155 dealership reviews. Justice is the man.
Yes.
He put them into a spreadsheet.
Yes.
Okay, so you can see all the dealership reviews. We need them. We need them on the where'd listings go? JoinYA.com.
Yeah, they need to be on the list.
I want them on the listings. Yeah. Don't you want them on the listings?
Yeah, yeah. Why wouldn't you have?
Because then I want to sort by like the ones that have been.
Why wouldn't you have a link on the listings page?
How nice would it be to see like ones that like dealerships that have been YAA approved? And not by us necessarily, but just like community members. And then you can like see, and then it should link back. Sorry, team. I'm like totally.
Yeah.
Then it should link back to the actual review. Because that's what Justice did right here. You want to know? You want to know a Hyundai dealership? Just search this Hyundai dealership right here.
Burkle.
Yeah, it should link to this.
Yeah.
All right, I got work to do.
Yeah, you do, buddy.
I got lunch to eat and ideas to share.
Yeah.
Absolute craziness. This one's probably going to go in the Hall of Fame. Hall of Shame.
This is definitely on the Mount Rushmore. If you got to be kidding me. I mean, I can't believe that a dealership general manager would choose their words as poorly as Josh Gordon chose his to explain how and why they were asking somebody to pay for something that hasn't even arrived at the dealership yet.
Yep. Now,
with no guarantee that it really ever will.
Now, Pops.
Yes.
Tonight, over on the YAA channel, 7 p.m. Eastern time.
Yes.
We pull it up on the screen.
Yeah.
You know what we're talking about tonight? Who's that man?
Who's what man?
Who's that man?
Who's your daddy?
Wow. Even we didn't see this coming. Why right now
might
be the best time to buy in 2022.
Really?
Really. I got a theory for you that I'm going to share with you tonight.
Wow.
You ready for that?
And please remember your keys tonight.
Yeah.
The
On
whole- the
Saturday
whole-
night, I forgot my key
Yeah,
fob.
yeah. We couldn't get into the building.
Yeah, it was pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, and leave it to your father to bring it up.
Here you
during
go.
election
Here you
work.
go. Filters option to not even look at rip-off dealies. Yeah, like that actually would be so useful.
Thank you, Neil.
Neil, thank you. Appreciate that. Steve Leto must have done a video on this as well. Great. We'll go take a peek at what Steve said. All right, let's call it a show. See everyone tonight, 7 p.m. back on the YAA channel. Okay.
Yeah, enjoy your lunch. See you all tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for being here.
That was cute.
Yeah.
Kind of like you.